Thank you. Nice fingernails. Hello again, Bulldog fans. We welcome you back to the great North Arkansas. We are in the trout fishing capital of the world, Mountain Home. 5A West baseball, and the Bulldogs back against the wall, so to speak. Got a little help from Siloam Springs as they defeated Russellville over in game one of their doubleheader. So the Bulldogs on life support for postseason, but they are needing to get a split here with the Airedales and the Panthers looming of Greenbrier to finish off the conference season. And Keith, really, I mean, you look at it, as we're going to throw Carnes here in game number 2, the freshman. The kid from Greenbrier is our only one we're probably, just if we're going to lose one, it would be that one.
Yes. He's committed to U of A. He's the best pitcher in the conference right now, and he's been on the winning side of all of Greenbrier's big games. They've split a couple, but he's their main pitcher, and they expect to win when he's on the mound. And you got to break it down. It's no longer a series. It's no longer a series with Elma. You got to break it down to every at-bat, every pitch, every game matters from here on out.
Correct. And here we go in game 2, and that is Braden Skaggs leading it off for the Bulldogs. And you were talking in game 1 early on. This is Isaac House, the lefty. There's game 2 pitcher. Skaggs hits a little flare into foul ground. And the first baseman on the run couldn't come up with it, and it's a 1-1 count to Skaggs.
Boy, he almost did, too. It went right in his glove and out of his glove, and he sold out all the way into the fence.
As Lance is behind the dish for him again.
The true test is going to be what happens if we don't play well? How are we going to react? We can't panic. We can't give up. We can't give in. It's not the Bulldog way. How are these kids going to react? I'm assuming they're going to fight, but you hate to see it. You hate to see that we've kind of done this to ourselves.
Ducker's over at first base. Zanskowski is at second. It's 1-2, and Skaggs swinging and strikes out. And he had his dauber down. I saw him between games, try to give him a little pep talk, and you can still see slow walking out. He's not feeling it right now, and I hate to see.
Man, you don't see him strike out very much. I don't know when the last time we saw him strike out. It doesn't happen a lot. He's usually aggressive enough where he puts the ball in play before he ever gets to that strike 3.
House, the lefty, up on top, and here is Grant Carnes, Greenwood's pitcher. And off speeds upstairs. Ball 1.
Of course, we got a new umpire now, and he's going to have to adjust to us in our zone.
Certainly. Drury's at third for Mountain Home. Ellison's at short. And here's the 1-0's low, 2-0.
I like Carnes getting it to 2-0. He loves fastballs. He'll evidently take a cut here.
And the lefty House brings it home. And it's outside, 3-0.
You can't score if you don't go touch first.
That's right. Lights have come on here at Pitts Family Field, McLean Park, here in Mountain Home. Tim Terry, Keith Holt. Doubleheader, second game here. Here it comes. And that's inside, and it's a walk. Well, that's a good job from Carnes to stay focused, and they're not trying to go get something. He's patient. The kid likes a free swing. And that time he said, I want to take a walk here. Here's Doc Holt.
Well, that's going to be the fun part the next 2 or 3 years is watching all these young guys grow. Yeah. We talked about Mitchell as a pitcher. He didn't pitch a bad game the last game. He threw 3 or 4 bad pitches, and they were bad moments when he threw them.
Right, just a little thing. Carnes throwing home, and it was going to be an easy out. Just threw the wrong side of the plate and just couldn't get the tag down. Just little bitty things like that. As that one's upstairs to Doc Holt. Holt went 2 for 4 in game 1. And House here's thrown 5 straight balls.
Well, that's what Coach just told him. He said 5 straight balls. But, as a hitter, what I hear is good. The next one's going to be a strike, and you can't miss it.
Yes. Huh?
That's right.
There it is. And it was a curveball in the outer half.
Well, you know what they say. If you can't throw your strike for a fastball, try something else.
I got you. House from the stretch. Carnes gets his lead at first base, a 1-out walk. Bulldogs got up 3-0 in game 1. Couldn't hang on. That one's a fastball, just missed inside. 2-1. Close.
Yeah, I flinched because I'm thinking that's one you got to hit. And, again, I watched the ball right out of the hand, and it was just in if it was in.
We're set up down here in the front row. Bob Euchre seats. Got the good view from behind the dish. The sun now is setting. The shade.
Back.
And Carnes goes. He's picked up. Will they get him at second? They do not. They throw it into left center. Carnes will get there. No problem, luckily. Avoids the pickle.
You go on first move, and if you're going to go and sell out, Carnes is probably one of the only guys fast enough at the high school level to sell out and make it. First baseman's supposed to come meet that ball and throw him out, but he was going to be safe regardless. He went on first flinch, and just his speed got him there.
Oh, it's beautiful. Now Doc's sitting there looking at 24 out there at second base saying swap spots. Here's the 2-1 to Holt, the Greenwood first baseman. And House kicks and fires and off speeds that went the other way. Look at Doc go to second base. He moves the runner up. The second baseman just made a glove string snag, or that ball was going to roll harmlessly out into right field. But it's an out.
Yeah, I thought he was going to score him. He reaches out, does a pirouette, makes the throw to first. Good play by the second baseman. Good contact for Holt.
Yep. Hit behind the runner. That's what you're wanting to do. So Carnes at third now, and here's Harrison Adams. Let's see if he can find some green grass. The outfield's natural. The infield's turf. And House kicks and fires. That's upstairs, ball 1. This guy's not doing anything overpowering. His fastball had a little life on it, but another guy we can get to. Just got to string the hits together and get some momentum, positive vibes. I went and told coaches that Russell had lost, so we kind of stayed on pace, if you will. That one's outside 2-0. Just got to get this win here and somehow sweep Alma, which Taylor kid's pretty solid in game 1. I don't know what else they have, if anything. That one's in the dirt.
If you remember a time when certain games you knew you could check off as wins, and this year in this conference, anybody can beat anybody on any. And I know it sounds cliche-ish, but it's very seldom true. Usually those teams are going to win, and this year we mean it. Anybody can beat anybody.
That one's outside. Now there's a 2-out walk issued to Harrison Adams, and the Bulldogs have runners at the corners for the senior Bryce Morgan. He's our shortstop. Love to see Bryce come through right here and get the party started. 2 down, top of the first. 9-4 was the final score, so you need to win by 5 or more to at least help any kind of tiebreaker situation. I don't know how that works in baseball, but just get one more run, and that'll for sure end any problems. First pitch swinging, and the second baseman, and he dropped it. He was safe, 100% safe. He bobbled it and dropped it, and that's going to score a run. Wow, Carnes, and it. Too bad that Adams wasn't super quick on his horse. He could have scored all the way from first.
It hit right in his palm. The wind obviously blew it back across the field towards third base, and as he's drifting with it, it didn't get in his pocket. It got into his palm, and you could just see it happening as it slowly rolled out of his glove onto the ground.
And tried to catch it with his other hand and couldn't do it. So Morgan's on with an error from Zanskowski, who's at second base. And now here's Aiden Kennen, our DH here in game 2. Get the Kennen, the junior. Man, there's a hot shot chopping foul towards the Mountain Home dugout, third base side. Lady Bulldogs won 2-1 in game 1. They lead 2-0 over in game 2. Over on the softball diamond, just off to our left. Bulldogs up 1-0 here. We've seen this story before. Let's see if they can keep on plugging a 2-out rally. Kennen looks at strike. Oh, boy, that's right in there for Aiden. Of course, Kennen will be available hopefully on the mound if necessary. We'll see if Carnes can come out and shut these Bombers down in game 2 here.
Look at Morgan going here on first. He's going to leave early.
He did leave early. Going to try to get in a run down, and he's in it. Now they're going to try to come
home
too
with
late,
it. Too early.
Yep. Yeah, Harrison just went too
Harrison
early.
Left too early.
You got to stay and let him get in that run down for a little longer over there. And so Adams is going to be picked off at home 4-2. Morgan was left on base. We got to run. Momentum a little bit down, if you will, but
yeah, you hate to see that at
yours.
the end. Yeah,
Yep.
you're trying to get with your lead. You're trying to get one run, and it's worked a couple times for us, but that time they played it right. You check the runner, you get to the second baseman quickly. He's facing home, and it was really just an easy catch and throw for him.
Skaggs will head out to left. Mitchell's in center. Jay Wright's in right field. Doc Holt will play first. Harrison Adams is at second. Bryce Morgan at short. And Aiden Saki at third. Strozier behind the dish. And the freshman phenom Grant Carnes on the mound here in game 2. He's going to give it a shot and try to shut these Bombers down. He got one run in the top half, which he scored. A one-out walk. And Carnes came across eventually.
Man, you got to empty the cupboard here. You know, if Carnes doesn't have it or starts getting hit, you know, it's next guy up. I mean, and that's the way it's got to be from here on out. You can't play, we need the split, or you got to play every pitch. Like, look, this is life or death. This is what we have to do.
100%. Let's see. That was Will Beckham. I'm trying to get. I didn't get a lineup card for them, so we'll get them on the fly. Drury's going to lead off. He's their third baseman. Beckham will bat second.
Drury's little brother wished us luck. We saw him eating today, and he said, hey, y'all be sure to look out for my brother, number 3.
Right? I'll say that. Tony Fox is out there. He will bat second, I bet you.
Still don't understand why they had us tip your server when you pay for the meal up front, and then they say, oh, you clean off your own table. If you want a drink, you go get it.
Yeah, the food was pretty decent. But don't pre-tip if you ever go to Raps Baron.
That's right.
All right, here's Carnes. First one to Drury. Their third baseman's in there for a called strike.
Very nice.
Yep. Start them out with a strike. Let them know where you're at. 1-0 Bulldogs, bottom of the first. Solid white top and bottom for Mountain Home, as that one's in the dirt. The fake dirt around home. 1 ball, 1 strike. We saw Valonia swap jerseys in game 2. I think the only team we've seen change outfits between the doubleheaders. Greenwood's in the gray trousers, blue tops, navy blue. That's in there for a called strike. Fastball 1-2.
That's one thing, Carnes will fill it up, and if you're not aggressive, he'll pick you apart.
1-2 to Drury, their third baseman. Right-handed bat, and Carnes a right-handed pitcher. That's a high heat, and he fouls that one straight back to stay alive. Bulldogs scratched a run across in the first.
And all the pressure of this game is on Greenwood. You know, if you're still sitting pretty, even if you split this with Mountain Home, they're not in the same shape we are yet. They could get there next week as we see a curveball miss just a little low.
Right.
2-2 count. But, you know, to me, I feel like, man, there's a sense of urgency from Greenwood. Let's go.
Yep. Here's a 2-2. That curveball just missed low as well.
That's a good piece of hitting. To me, that's one you off-rat or you see kids off-rat. Starts about knee-high, and then it broke down low to the top of the ground.
Here's the 3-2, and it's inside, and a walk to Drury. Lead off the bottom of the first.
Center fielder number 31, Tony Fox.
Here's Tony Fox. He's their center fielder.
Coach looking at his card. Coach is going to set his bunt defense. Saki's going to come in on the fake grass.
Here's Fox, the center fielder. He squares the bunt, and
hit the bat.
Hit him in the box first. So strike one. Yeah, hit him in the box first, then hit the bat. Thank goodness for him.
I'd almost argue that he was stepping out of the box when it hit him, at least. But the umpire was so quick on calling it, he saw it.
Right. So an 0-1 count.
I like the 2-for-1, trying to drag bunt, kind of do it as a sacrifice bunt, trying to get 2 for 1.
And he squares again. This time he couldn't get a bat on it. Stayed around for the offer, 0-2.
Yeah, now if you're going to – so the first one was you're trying to get 2 for 1, bunt for hit, and at the same time sacrifice guy over. If one works, great. But that one, there's no – you got to make contact with that one and get that one down.
Carnes with an 0-2 count comes home to Tony Fox. Swing and a miss. And one down now. Nice.
That breaking ball has some bite. He just throws it so hard. It's got a very tight spin rate and breaks. It has a lot of late movement.
Here's Will Beckham, a left-handed bat. He's their right fielder. One out, bottom of the first. Man at first walked. A strikeout. Now Carnes comes home with some heat and just missed outside, ball one.
And Carnes is so quick to home. I really don't think you'll see anybody test Strozier's arm because of Carnes. Because Carnes is so quick. Strozier, all he's got to do is be able to catch it. If they steal, it's because they're guessing something in the dirt.
This is a laser to right field, and Jay Wright couldn't find it. It went over his head as Beckham smoked it to the fence.
Oh, pick it up.
And Jay will get it in. One run's going to score. It's a triple.
We had some problems picking up the ball. Jay did, and then on the transfer to Adams, just couldn't get the ball, get a handle on it.
Right. And we're tied at 1. Beckham's over at third base with an RBI triple. And here's Ellison now. He's their shortstop. Carnes up on top. He lays the bunt down. Carnes going to come home with it. Got it. He's out. Good job of Strozier. Good job of Carnes fielding that, flipping it to Dillon. And Beckham tried to
he tried to swim move it. It's called a swim move when you slide like that, where he starts to reach with his left hand and then pulls it in and kind of rolls over and reaches with a right. He almost got that call.
Yep.
And it was a great slide, but I still think Dillon did an excellent job of putting the tag on before he touched the plate.
Yes.
You're not going to reward a guy for making a great move if he's out.
And Ellison's on with the fielder's choice. Here's Zanskowski now, their second baseman, with 2 outs. And a chopper towards Saki. Nope, in the hole is Morgan, and he could not get the throw across.
And that's where you playing on turf, you get used to look. All you got to do is be quick, and it don't matter if it rolls over there. It'll keep going straight. But again, he got moved earlier because of our problems. Don't know that maybe he just didn't have faith in throwing it all the way across.
Well, it's one of them deals where you may not be able to get him, and if you throw it away, then everybody moves up. Just eat it and keep the force in order. There's 2 outs. I don't have number 9 today, but another left-handed bat, and that's at the belt, but I called a ball.
You like that pitch as a strike? That's that high strike that I like. Yep, right at the belt.
Here's the 1-0. Runners at first and second as the sun is set and the entire field in the shade or in the dark now. 2-0. That curveball was inside. Here's Carnes up on top. Checks the runner at second. Fastball's upstairs. 3-0. Ducker out on deck for Mountain Home. Strozier out to talk to Carnes, and they're ready. 2 outs here. Runner at first and second, a 3-0 count. They give him the green light here, tied at 1, bottom of the first. The fastball's right down Broadway for strike 1. Carnes comes set up top. Here's the 3-1. Swing and a miss. Well, the payoff pitch, everybody will be on their horse.
3-2, 2 outs.
Yep. Runners will get a little extra lead with the full count. And there they go. This one's in the gap. Got past Adams and into right field. Wright's going to come up firing to third, but not in time. Ellison will score.
That was probably ball 4, too. It was a high strike, high fastball.
And now here's Ducker. I have to figure out who number 9 is. It's RBI single. And Zankowski's over at third now. 2-1. Mountain home with the lead. There's 2 outs and runners at the corners.
Well, at some point we got to stop this where we score, we do something good, and then we allow them to answer us.
Right, no doubt. Ducker now, their first baseman, looks at strike 1. And they fake the throw down as they give him second base. Catcher's indifference.
Well, and they were going to do the same thing we did earlier.
Mm-hmm.
The runner had pulled up short, thinking about the throw, and they were going to test us and our defense to see what we were going to do. And we're just going to say, hey, you can have it. We've got 2 outs.
Here's the 1-0. It's a ball, 1-1.
Close. It's got to be the top of the zone.
He definitely does not like a high strike. We've seen a couple on both teams. Here's a 1-1 to Ducker. And that one's tipped into the net and fouled. 1-2. 2 outs. Mountain home up 2-1. We're still in the bottom of the first. Runners at second and third for the Bombers. Carnes set up top. And got him with a breaking ball.
Wow.
Nope, just outside.
Well, I mean, he said it was outside. It wasn't. That was right on the corner. That was a great pitch.
2-2. High heat, and that one's inside. Carnes a little frustrated there. Got to let it all loose. Full count. Second and third. We got a first base open. I'd like to get this guy here and get back in the dugout. Up in the air, fouled out of play over the top. Off with the mask for Strozier. But it's back into Dawson's Creek.
Strozier threw the mask down the line for a double.
Well, you want to get it and get it out of your way.
Hey, so you don't
trip
step over it. That's right.
Or leave it on, one or the other. That's another school of thought. Mask off or on. I don't know what the rule is.
It's like we're in a builder. You can't see. It just lets you open up everything.
Right. That one's fouled into the net. Right back at home plate blue. Still, well, I've got 3-2. The board says 2-2. Yeah, the count should be full. And here is Carnes.
Got it.
Third ball. Hey, that time he got him with a backwards K. It took a minute, but home plate blue finally obliged. Well, they scored 2 runs. There was 2 hits. They left 2 on base. 2-1. Bombers lead after the first innings. Game 2 of this 5A West doubleheader. We are live on Greenwood Sports Center and the Sports Hog 103.5. F at number 8. We welcome you back to Mountain Home. 5A West Baseball, Greenwood Bulldogs need to get a split here. They're in a little bit of trouble, losing game one here. However, the Cyclones or the Solomon Springs Panthers have helped as they beat Russellville over in their twin bill. So Greenwood trying to stay in pace there with Mountain Home, Greenwood, Russellville jockeying for position. Siloam's really in there too, I guess.
And mathematically, so many different things can happen, but you can keep a lot of that from being negative if you just went out and do what you're supposed to do.
Yep.
So I'm sure there's something mathematically could happen as we see ball one stay outside.
Wow.
Yeah. I thought that was right on the corner
Me
to
too.
Kennen. But you just want to take that out of play, and you take care of business.
Adams was cut down at home, so Kennen gets the bat again. Hey, look at here, a base hit in the right field. That's going to help the confidence of Mr. Aiden Kennen. And mine as well. Here's Austin Mitchell now, the Bulldogs center fielder. So that worked out well for Kennen. He got another shot at it.
Center fielder number 8, Austin Mitchell.
He was in an 0-2 hole whenever Adams was cut down at home. 5-0 now. Lady Bulldogs have opened up the softball game as I look over towards the scoreboard. Come on, Austin. Center fielder for Greenwood here in game 2. And the lefty serves him up a little fat curveball, and Mitchell had big old eyes and came in there late and fouled it into Greenwood's dugout.
Russell's playing at Siloam, and it's tied in the third inning 1-1.
Wow.
Of the second game.
Yep. All right. Here's House up on top. There goes Kennen. That ball's low, and the throw goes to right field.
Go.
Kennen's got to get up, and he's going to get to third easily. They're going to throw over, get away from him. It does not. And Kennen will get an extra base on the throwing error by the catcher. That ball scored out of his hands and headed towards Beckham and right.
He never got a grip. That's one of those where you see a lot of catchers say, well, why didn't you throw it? Well, I didn't have a grip. Well, if you ever did throw it without a grip, it would do that right there.
Right. So now 90-foot tying run over at third. Nobody out. Here's Mitchell with a 1-1 count. The lefty House up on top, and he'll kick and fire. And a low, and Mitchell swings and misses, try to golf one. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Talked to Austin's dad between games, and good dude. Here's a 1-2. And in there for a called strike. Boy, Mitchell struck out looking 3 times now today. Tough, good player too. Just every down and then you have a couple of them at-bats. Here's Strozier now with 1 out.
Well, and that's what the difference is in the really good upper-level players is it's hard to carry over that. You strike out once, no big deal. You strike younger kids just wear it. They take it so hard that it just affects them. And until the next day, they wear it.
There's an off-speed pitch in there to Strozier, strike 1 looking.
You see, this pitcher's kind of changed his demeanor. They get a 2-1 lead now. He's gone from a guy that couldn't hardly throw a strike and was kind of struggling to, he's got a lot more confidence.
Time was asked for by
And granted.
Strozier and granted by the home plate umpire.
Did we just get an English accent?
I don't know. This ball lifted out of play and into Dawson's Creek. 0-2 now the count. The Greenwood catcher.
No matter what accent I start with, it'll either go back to redneck American or Australian. Those are the two that I gravitate towards.
The 0-2. It's upstairs. 1 and 2 now to Strozier. Kennen over at third.
And you got to score him. You got him over there with nobody out. You got to score him.
1 out now. Maybe we can get a wild pitch or a passed ball. Here's the 1-2. That's, again, and hey, Strozier's trying, Keith. He's trying to go the other way, get something to the right side, even if it's in play.
He's choked up. He is. He's going to let that ball get as deep as possible, but that's the thing with our strikeouts. They've come at the most inopportune times.
That's right.
It's not that we have a lot of them. They're just at bad moments like that right there.
But the ball gets free. Strozier swings. He's going to make it to first, and the run's going to score. Boy, it couldn't have went any better for Greenwood on that.
Right. That's one of the few times the strikeout has helped us.
Yes. So he reaches on the strikeout, so there's still just 1 out. And here's Aiden Zaki.
And you'll see Sam Forbes go over to first base to courtesy run for the catcher.
How do you score that? Is that, I mean, reach on an error, I guess, or fielder? I mean, what do you?
That was a wild pitch, and he shouldn't have had it, should he? Was that out of the catcher's reach?
Yeah, I think so. No,
You think he missed it?
I think he missed it.
So pass ball. So it'd be an error on the catcher.
We're going to call it reaching on an error, but I love having a base runner over at first either way, however he got there. Forbes into run. Saki takes ball one. We're tied at 2. We asked really nicely to make sure Kennen scored, and they did. So the kids listen every now and then to grown-ups. House up on top. Left-handed hurler from Mountain Home. They're going to throw over. Forbes nearly got there. Everybody saw that, and Sam still made it close. I don't know if if he'd fell asleep or not over there as well. He's got to be
That's
yelling
what
back.
Mercado was like, hey, talk to him. Tell him.
Right.
You got to tell him.
The dugout was hollering for sure. And now House will get ready back up on the mound. Saki batting in the 9th hole. Getting one out here in the top of the 2nd. And that's in there for a called strike. 1-1 now.
Well, it starts with the pitcher's front foot. When he comes up with his toe flat, he just pitches. When he points it down, it's like he's trying to sell that he's pitching, and then he steps to first.
So he's in the stretch now. We'll see him come set.
And then that front foot, if you watch the way his foot goes up, like that was a pitch because it stayed flat. Here in a minute, when he picks, you'll see his toe go down like he's really trying to sell that he's pitching.
Gotcha.
It's like, hey, look, no, I'm not.
Saki fouled that one off into the net, so the catcher heard you
just
talk.
heard me telling
Yeah,
me.
so he was like, quit moving your toe around.
Dang it.
You're doing that toe thing again. You're breathing through your eyelids.
Yeah, Lelouch.
1 ball, 2 strikes to Saki. Skaggs out on deck. I wish he'd look down here so I'd give him a little pep talk. Need to get Braden's attention, get back in the limelight here. He's a good player.
Just do what I do. Just take off your headset and yell at him.
Well, that's possible. Here's House now up on top. The 1-2 coming in to Saki.
Back. Yep. Toe went down.
Yep. Forbes not quite as big a lead that time. 1 ball, 2 strikes. So if you can figure out the toe deal, I don't know that Sam has yet or not. When do you pick your poison to run on him?
When you think a curveball's going to go, you leave on first moving like right then.
Saki,
Get through
flare, second baseman gobbles it, steps on the bag, got Aiden over at first. A nice double play.
We got one.
Bulldogs did some damage. There was a hit, there was 1 run, there was an error. But Greenwood leaves no runners. 4 unassisted, 3 on the double play. And we go to the bottom of the 2nd inning. We're tied at 2. Bulldogs trying to stay pace with these Bombers. Really, really need a win here in Game 2 to stay on track and try to get that playoff berth. And really, we talked about it, Keith. I think the way things are going, if Russell somehow gets swept, they got Van Buren in there. I'm not sure who they're playing tonight, but the 3 and the 4 seed are still up for grabs, really. As Greenbrier and Van Buren have almost solidified the 1-2.
That's true. And it could be anybody's, but, Greenwood's just not helping themselves right now. And everything's important. If you look at, so you have Jay Wright and Strozier. Those are your 2, and Morgan. Those are your 3 out of your 9 are seniors. So that means you've got 6 guys that everything you do is building for next year. I know nobody here likes to hear, well, we're not finished with this year yet.
Right.
But my point is the future of the program, it's infinity. It goes every year. You're building for every year. Well, you've got think about all the young guys. You got a freshman that's one of your top hitters. Your sophomore is one of your top hitters. One of your best pitchers. He's your ace. Your sophomore. So you've got 3 or 4 more years with the same guys. And what you want them to do is to be hungry and not want to be in this situation again.
Right.
Greenwood should not be to where we're having to hope other people win or lose.
Yes.
We've got enough baseball players and enough tradition that this should make everybody mad enough to where we take care of business.
Well, here's Lance, their catcher. A right-handed bat leading off the bottom of the 2nd. And Carnes brings some high heat. Ball 1. Well, and also you want to get these guys some postseason experience as
You
you're
bet,
building.
because that's different than the regular season experience.
2-2. They're 2-0 now. That one's in the dirt. They're in the fake dirt. Carnes up on top. Brings it home. That one's low, and Lance helped him out a little bit. Fouled it off. 2-1 now.
I love how they did turf, and then they decided to have a real – because it's going to be a lot of work to keep that dirt off the turf, but I love how it's a real mound. Like it's real dirt, and you don't have to worry about the turf. You having to change it out every other year because of metal spikes. I mean, I really like the dirt being on the turf.
I think, was it Tennessee or somebody's just like that in the SEC? I was watching a game. There's a fastball in there for a called strike, 2-2.
Infield turf with real dirt?
With the real dirt on the mound, yes. That one's a called strike.
Got him.
Swing and a miss. And a strikeout for Carnes. That's his third strikeout.
Just brought the heat. Said, here, hit this, and he's getting it high enough where they can't get their hands to it and blowing it by him.
Here's House now. He is their pitcher. But he bats right-handed.
You don't see a lot of left-handed pitchers that bat right-handed.
Strange. He's in the 9 hole. One down here in the bottom of the second. We're tied at 2. Bulldogs lost 9-4 in game 1. They need to try to get a split here after this long road trip up here. Fastball just missed upstairs to this strike zone.
Well, I think that the strike zone is probably tighter, but neither team's done a great job of being patient. A lot of guys swinging at stuff that's out of the zone. Like that ball looked like a strike.
Wow.
Yeah.
If the other one was high, that one wasn't low. 2-0. One down here in the bottom of the second. Carnes kicks and fires. Hey! 2-1. Same pitch.
Same pitch.
6-0 now. Lady Bulldogs have put another one on in the 6th inning over there. Here's a 2-1 from Carnes. Curveball.
Never got on top of it.
Nope.
Stayed up a little bit.
3-1 now to their pitcher, House. See if Carnes can bring a strike. We don't need to walk batters. In there for a called strike. That's Strozier's right there. Framed that baby up. House flipped the bat. Thought he got a free pass.
Bottom 3, Siloam Springs leads Russellville and still has guys in scoring position 2-1.
Here's the full count to House. Tip foul just stayed alive in their 9 hole.
3-2-1. 3-2-1's a lucky count. That old 3-2-1.
3-2-1. Yahtzee. Small straight, super small. 4 runs
A lot
scored.
of 1s and 2s on the board.
Yeah.
3-2-1, 1-1, 2-2-2.
Yes.
Got him.
Curveball. He tried to offer, but he checked up, and it's a base on balls to the 9 hole.
It's a great pitch.
Yep. Wow. Top of the order. Now here's Drury.
You know, high school kids should get that pitch. I mean, it's the ball is on the black. It's on the plate. To me, the plate is part of the black as well. It's not just the white, or people wouldn't talk about the black part of the plate. And if you have a ball that goes over the black part of the plate, it's a strike.
You wonder why the black's on there.
I
It's
think
kind of a chamfer to smooth up.
make it to like a ramp. So
Yeah.
I guess so.
And they throw down. Nearly got him. Threw behind the courtesy runner for the pitcher. I think it was a ball called to Drury.
Good job of Jay Wright to back up that throw. You know, Dawson's trying to catch a moving ball, running back to the bag and tag at the same time. And if something happens, you know, Jay Wright was on his horse and he was there.
Carnes from the stretch. He comes set up top and brings home some gas, and it's just outside. Wow.
Wow. Yeah, Strozer's like looking around like, what? Can I get some help here?
I'm trying to think. I guess the strike zone's been pretty tight both ways, huh? Really, though.
Yeah,
That's worse.
yes, he is. That's what I'm saying about swinging there.
Yeah.
You don't have to offer it much.
Right.
And to impress us, all you have to do is be consistent. If that pitch is going to be a ball, it better be a ball the entire
Sure,
day.
absolutely.
Don't hear in another 3 batters call it a strike. Just be consistent.
Right.
Did I say that loud enough?
Yes, that's upstairs, 3-0. I think it was.
All right.
Stroger's going to go out and talk to Mr. Carr and say, look, brother.
Because we're about what? We're 12 yards, 15, maybe 15 yards behind the umpire.
Yeah, maybe 16. Stroger's back behind the dish. 3-0 is the count to their third baseman, Drury. He squares to bunt.
He's going to fake bunt, try to
He
get him to
did.
throw.
There's a call. Man, that looks pretty good. I mean, it may be at the belt, but it's tough. So, another walk, and Tony Fox now will come up. He struck out his first time. Mikado's going to come in and meet at the mound.
I mean, you got to talk to somebody, and as a coach, all you do is if you talk to the umpire, it looks like you're begging, and you probably make him mad.
Right.
He's not going to change anything because you talk to him.
Right.
You know, some coaches would disagree. Some of the veteran coaches would disagree and say, well, if you yell at him and make a scene, then you make it to where he don't want to experience that again, and he may lean your
Right.
way. But, you know, Mercado and these
That happens
guys,
a lot in basketball.
it
for
does.
sure.
Oh, it definitely does.
Right.
I mean, you know, Clay Reeves doesn't hardly say anything, but when he does, people listen, and they change, right?
Well, the only time he does is when the other coach is doing somersaults and doing cartwheels and crying like a baby. And once Clay sees the officials start giving all the calls to the other guy, he's like, I guess I better get in the game.
That's right.
I don't want to have to do it, but
That's right.
and sometimes it's too late.
See, this is when he needs to say it right now. Mercado's probably saying, man, I had to tell him, say, look, some of those balls look like strikes, but they probably weren't because this guy's really good. You're doing good, Blue. You know, I mean, get him on your side because right now some of those calls are strikes.
So here's Fox now digging in for Mountain Home. We've got first and second and one out. The Bombers with something brewing here in the bottom of the second inning. And that time he got the high strike. So Mikado's buttered him up enough to get it.
We like it.
Yep. 0-1 to count.
Do you want to know the Siloam Springs Russellville score again?
I will after this pitch. Carnes is in the stretch, now set, and he'll come home with it. Swing and a miss. Fox looked fooled there. Go.
4-1.
What was it a while ago?
2-1. It was 1-1, and then it's 2-1. Now it's still the bottom of the third.
So if they can sweep, that means they would go to 4-6. The Cyclones would, and a split for us would put us to 5-5, and we'd jump over them and have to deal with Mountain Home and then Siloam now. Here's the 0-2. Just missed
just left it
upstairs.
up.
Yep.
Again,
It's a great take.
there's a chance you can still make it after
Oh, yeah.
losing that first game.
Oh, yeah.
But so many things have to happen, like
Right.
Siloam Springs, doubling up Russellville.
Mm-hmm.
But why do that? Just went out.
And there's a chopper foul. Good job of Saki to wait and then to go get it when it got foul. So it's still 1-2 as the runners retreat back.
Well, I think he wanted it to stay fair. I think, if he could have come and got it and still beat the runner, that would have been best case scenario.
Sure.
I think he really tried to get it fair so he could go get an easy out.
All he would have to do was step on the bag.
Yeah.
Here's the curveball that Fox went out and got, trying to stay alive. A ball way outside.
Let go of the bat, too. He just basically threw it. That's called throwing your hands at the bat.
Yes. 1-2 still. Runners get their lead at first and second. Carnes in the stretch, peering in. Now comes set. And here comes the 1-2 to Fox. Outside, 2-2.
Sims is nowhere in the lineup, and we'd heard that he had hurt his arm. It may be something that lost him,
Wow.
completely, which his bat and his arm together were a vital part of that team, and you may just see the wheels fall off for them as well.
Hate that for them. This one's lifted foul. Hit up pretty decent, but pulled left side for Fox, and it's still 2-2. One out here in the bottom of the second. The score's tied at 2 still yet.
Now go outside, away,
Carnes up on top.
off speed.
Wanting a double play ball. Here it is.
Boom.
And the chopper to Saki, but it's foul. Just again, he was going to beat the runner. The second bounce kind of massayed into foul ground.
It did. It was
Yep.
weird because it stayed straight as a string until about 73% down
Yeah.
the line.
Good number. Fox is back up and ready. We're 2-2 still yet. First and second for Mountain Home. A couple of walks. There's one down. And Carnes brings it upstairs, full count. Well, can he walk the bases loaded? Let's see. Got to come with a strike here. Let's give him something to hit. The dangerous Beckham on deck. Left-handed right fielder. Left-handed bat. Here's the full count pitch. And it went down, and Fox went and helped him out. That was ball 4.
Well, and Carnes is at 54 pitches in the second inning, and that's just tough. I mean, you hope you can light it out, but throwing that many pitches in an inning is really tough on an arm. So you got to look, okay, who's next? Is it going to be Kennen? Is it right?
Mm-hmm. Swing and miss.
3.
Throw it. He threw down the third, and no, Saki dropped it. The ball's going to run harmlessly out into foul ground. Oh, tough one for Saki.
Oh, yeah, he knows it. He went to tag before he had the ball.
The strikeout was good for out number 2. Now the runner can't advance to first because it was occupied, but everybody else could if they wanted to, and they did, and they were dead meat, and Saki couldn't squeeze it over there.
Did he have him if he catches it?
Heck yes, he was out. No doubt. If he could have brung it in. Well, here's Beckham now. And hopefully that's not didn't cost us too much because this kid here has got a solid bat. He smoked a triple last time he was up.
Yeah, you just don't give him anything too fine to hit. Make him hit your pitch.
Yep.
And you got a base open, and the guy behind him really don't scare me much. He may hit a double or a home run next, but he doesn't. Not as much as this guy hitting.
Agreed. So Carnes will work from the stretch. 2 outs, tied at 2 still, but second and third now for Mountain Home. In the first fastball, he golfed at it.
Yes, he did.
Got him chasing. Strike 1. Good pitch.
And you almost got to tell Harrison to stay over here in this hole and stay home.
Yep. 0-1 now to Will Beckham, their right fielder. Laced a RBI triple his last time up.
Oh, no. Stay back, Doc. Stay back.
Here is Carnes, and he steps off the rubber. And now comes back set. Beckham will step out of the box, regather. And the chess match continues here. A huge spot, I think, in this game. We'll look back at this moment and see that it may have decided something. 2 outs. Here's Carnes bringing the 0-1. Gas, strike call.
Give me one moment in time.
For one shining moment.
I don't even know this. I don't even.
You may just wrote a new song. That may have been a new hit. We need to cut an album. Here's the 0-2. Hello. No, we did not. All right.
Oh. Thank you.
Oh. Well, even our golden pipes fake out the best of them. As Michael thought we'd gone to break and we're just singing our blues away.
Yeah, the copyright police were getting us. They thought we were stealing music.
I mean, little did he know we were just trying to serenade the fans back in the River Valley.
Well, you just made it. You had me in. You like this moment is gonna. We're gonna look back at this moment, and I'm like, this is huge. I'm kind of on the edge of my seat now.
Well, it is. I mean, you watch as we're in the first round of the postseason.
Oh.
I'm going to tell you about what happened here.
No. You don't talk him into it.
And
so what happened was that ball hit the ground and then hit the batter, and he turns to the umpire and says, "Hey, that hit me," and he says, "Well, go."
Wow. Bases are loaded, and Mikado's going to come out and ask for some clearance on what happened.
Yeah, and he's going to try to get the other umpire involved, but this one's going to be saying, look, I saw it. That's why I called it. I saw it. I mean, there's nobody to appeal.
And to be honest with you, it might not be the worst thing. We talked about putting that guy on. He's a huge stick, and like you said, Ellison here may kill us, but we'll see.
Well, you got short outs now.
Yeah.
And on turf, just back everybody back to the edge to make the field, make it smaller to where he doesn't have as much room to work.
Mm-hmm. 2 outs. Corners come up just a bit.
And that's to take away the drag bunt, so he can't drag bunt it.
And Ellison is not bunting. Strozier is just a wall back there as Carnes threw that one way outside.
When he has to. That caught skin right there on that stop.
Yeah.
Shift and block.
Dylan, we've talked about as good a defensive catcher as there is around. He's showed it there. Here's the 1-0. Fastball in there for a called strike.
You know, as Carnes throws his 61st pitch in the second inning.
Goodness gracious.
And, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if you get Kennen or somebody up or Wright.
And there's a shot towards Morgan. He'll wait on it, flip it over to second, and they get the force. Well, there was some damage, but it was not on the scoreboard as the Bulldogs get out of that jam, a bases-loaded jam. Beckham is forced out at second, 6-4. Ellison got out there to the fielder's choice. Well, there was no runs. There was no hits. They left the bases loaded. A couple of walks and a hit batsman. And then 2 strikeouts as well. Well, we dodged a bullet. 2-2 after 2 innings. Greenwood coming to bat. It will be the top of the order, Skaggs, Carnes, Holt. Quick break here on Greenwood Sports Center and the Sports Hog 103.5. Mountain home. Greenwood Bulldogs 5A West baseball. Tim Terry, Keith Holt Bulldogs needing a win here in game 2 to help some postseason.
Because anything can happen, and you just want to take destiny into your own hands.
And Skaggs will lead off.
You know, and there's no gimmies. I mean, Alma, even though we've talked about them being down and stuff, they play like a different team when Logan Taylor's on the mound, and they have a lot of faith in him. And he threw when they almost beat Van Buren. He pitched a 110 8-inning game, and it went into the 9th or 10th inning, and they ended up losing. You know, that changes things if you get a split out of Alma from Van Buren. So it could happen.
Greenbrier beat Alma 7-0. I don't know if that's game 1 or not. Just happened to see that score.
If our hitters will just be patient, we'll get a few walks with his strike zone the way it's been.
100%.
Because he's not pitched well enough to make me think that he could fill up a teacup size strike zone.
Right. There's a shot, a little flare, and it's to the second baseman who drifted back into the natural grass and out number 1.
Well, you got to like where we're at in the lineup.
Right.
You know, Skaggs hasn't been the same.
Yeah, he looked kind of peaked in the between games. I talked to him. He was just kind of pale, like he wasn't feeling well. I tried to say, man, come on, we'll get this split. Let's get back to work. Here's Carnes trying to help himself out.
That's going to get down.
It's hit a mile high to the left. The left fielder took an odd path, but finally found the vibe and got up under it. Makes the catch for out number 2.
How many pitches is that?
1, 2, 3, 4. And here's Doc Holt now. Dawson grounded out to second base his first time up. And let's see if he can keep the at-bat alive here. 2-out rally in the top of the 3rd. We're tied at 2. A lot of baseball left here in this nightcap.
I wouldn't be surprised to see a drag bunt here.
And a ball.
I think Coach May gave him a take, wanting him to throw a couple more pitches. Didn't want to have 5 pitches and get out of the inning.
House up on top. He kicks and fires. The lefty. And that's in there for a called strike. 2 outs. Tied at 2. Top of the 3rd.
Come on, Doc.
2 outs and Holt up with a 1-1 count. Greenwood's first baseman, a righty-lefty matchup. And House the lefties. Good check swing from Holt. 2-1. Nearly went after that and fell off the shelf. Adams out on deck for Greenwood.
Need base runners.
Yep. 2 balls and a strike to Holt. And that's in there for a called strike. Fastball, 2-2. Holt was 2 for 4 in game 1, had an RBI. And 2-2 now, got to protect. See if it fell off the trash, drive one. And it did. That curveball fouled right back at us. It's amazing how you get a little extra advice from Dad. The next pitch is fouled right in his grill. I don't know if that was intentional or not.
Glad he offered that. Those 2 fastballs were right down the middle.
Right. 2-2. There's one going the other way, but slicing foul. It's going to get down in foul ground.
And the more pitches you see, the better chance you got. You've seen this curveball, you fouled it off. You just got to think right side so everything gets a little deeper. He's not going to throw you off. And honestly, I don't think you have to worry about the umpire making a call a couple balls off the plate.
Right. Here's a 2-2 again to Doc Holt. 2 outs here in the top of the 3rd. Like to get him on base. I hate the 1-2-3 inning. And that's upstairs. Full count. But that one was close too, Keith.
It was. I mean, when I saw it, I'm thinking,
yeah,
we've seen kids punched out on that pitch this year.
In the first game, might have done it tonight. Full count. Fouls that one back into the net, right over the top.
Let's go win it.
2 outs here, top of the 3rd. You hear some of the fans there close behind us saying, "Win it."
Win the at bat. That's all you can do is win the at bat.
Full count. Fouls out right back at us again. I think he's tired of that guy hollering at him. I don't know who it is back there, but he's sure filling up our strike zone over here.
Oh. You haven't flinched, though. You've been so preoccupied.
Right.
You've done really well.
I'm keeping the book on all this thing here. Here we go. Full count. And he plunked him. Attaboy, Doc. Why not? Threw it behind him and he's hit by a pitch.
Nothing like that ball 4 that hits you.
Yeah, right.
Right on the meaty part of your leg.
Right. All right. Well, there's the base runner. We got the 1-2-3 innings out the window. Now here's Harrison Adams. Let's see if he can get something going.
Coach is kind of smiling because I don't know what the rule is on ball 4. If you can move out of the way on ball 4, or
right.
you have to take it. But Coach is kind of smiling.
House up on top. Adams digging in.
Watch his foot here. He's pitching, yep.
And a curveball just caught the outer half, or outer 3rd, outer quarter. Close. That's been a 50-50 ball, or really more of a ball all night than a strike. 0-1 to Adams. He walked earlier and ended up getting cut down as we tried to get in a rundown out between 1st and 2nd. He broke for home too early from 3rd base. And Holt was close that time.
Yeah, that diving for the back part of the base really helped him.
0-1 count to Harrison Adams, Greenwood's second baseman. House up on top, the lefty for Mountain Home. Comes set, and he goes home with it. And Adams fouls that into the net. Bryce Morgan out on deck if Adams can keep the at-bat alive.
And I'd also steal after he picks once. He hasn't picked back-to-back yet. And surely there's a scouting report somewhere that says I'm right. And so after that first pick, go on first movement.
Here's the 0-2 to Adams, and there goes the runner. It's upstairs, and the throw is down and into center field, and Holt's going to try for 3rd. He's on his horse, and he will be there. You know what? I don't know if I wouldn't have either, Keith. They've been throwing it all over the yard around the infielders, and Holt's at 3rd now. Adams has a 1-2 count. And a wild pitch now gives Greenwood the lead, or a pass ball, something to the backstop. Here we go.
We've seen him be. That's why this strike zone, we can play it in our favor if we'll just be patient.
Yep. Adams waits on the 1-2. And that's low.
That's low because Carnes will tell you. Ask him how this strike zone is.
Right.
I mean, it's tight.
Yep.
He's thrown some pitches that are,
yep.
Last time he pitched, those were strikes, and it's got to be confusing for a young kid. You got an educator that's like, whoa. Every one of those were strikes last game.
Yep.
Well, it's a different adult back there with a different zone.
Right. 2-2 to Adams. Off speed. Is he going to get through? The third baseman gobbles. Can he throw it across in time? He does. Just in time. 5-3 on the putout. The Bulldogs made it interesting, and I like at least making it interesting. 2.5 in the books here. We're tied at 2 still in this game 2 of a doubleheader. Greenwood needs to win. Let's take a quick break. Greenwood Sports Center and the Sports Hog 103.5.
Longest conference road matchup in the state of Arkansas in every classification.
204 miles door to door, and we've managed to climb the mountain, and we're up here in the north part.
Well, they should have included that. We had a walk from the parking lot. This is not the parking lot's way over there. You have to cross a creek, go over a bridge.
I wish I would have. Let me see here. Speaking of that creek, it would have been nice had I had, one of my Bobby Garland baby shads from Bradco. I don't know if there's any crappie up here, but there's certainly trout, and we'd have gave it a shot. Appreciate Taco Bell as well. Bradco, Phil, all those guys help sponsoring the broadcast on the radio side for sure. All right, Karn's back to work. Pitch count's way up there, but we're going to let him run and see if he can try to get settled in here. First one's a called strike. Just keep throwing it right there. This is 11 is Zanskowski. He's their second baseman, and a strike 1 to him. This one's lifted to the right field. Jay Wright's there, makes the catch for out number 1.
You like it. You see Carnes is, he's not really messing with the corners. He's throwing it over the plate, but you almost have to and just hope that your defense plays behind you.
Here's their DH, Mason Walker. Made sure I got his name that time from Decon there.
I'll tell you what was impressive that last inning was after this pitch.
That's in there.
Ooh, little
it's outside. Okay, ball 1.
Harrison got down that line, and and if you know Harrison and the problems he's had with his knees and his legs, that was what was impressive. And then the rumor is he's going to play football again this year.
I saw that the football Twitter feed had put out the squad leaders that were elected by the players, and he was on there. So we'll see. 2-0 the count now. Carnes brings it to Walker. That's a called strike. A Bronx cheer from the Greenwood faithful. 1 down here in the bottom of the third, tied at 2. Bulldogs needing to salvage or get a sweep out here somehow. And that one's fouled out of play over to the softball diamond where I noticed the scoreboard's off. That means Greenwood came out with a sweep over there, and Saki's ladies are solidifying their postseason chances now. They've got a big one next week. The Lady Airedale's coming to town, a quality softball team. They're one of their better teams they've had in a while, I believe. 2-2. And that one's tip fouled and hit him in the box. Try to check swing, just caught a little bit of the ball. We'll do it again. We'll have a live stream only for baseball next week, and I'm sure softball will be streamed as well. We'll get all those details as we get on towards the end of this one. 2-2. Fastball upstairs. Full count now to Walker, their DH.
And that's Alma at home.
Mm-hmm. And then we go to Greenbrier in 2 weeks for the finale of the conference season. That will be on the radio as well as live streamed.
Thursday, you've got at Heritage, Rogers Heritage for Greenwood boys as we see that ball go over the plate for a strike that's called a ball.
Wow. Mikado asking
Strozer, and what did Strozer say? What was his answer?
I don't know. Here's Ducker now with a man on, 1 out. A 1-out walk.
Again, if you're not watching the live stream, and Sean, bless his heart, hasn't put us up a strike box yet that you're seeing, It wouldn't have to be a strike box right now. It'd have to be a strike circle. It would be, the size of what?
2-inch PVC pipe.
2-inch PVC pipe, and you're talking about that's it. I mean, it's a tight zone today for everybody. Great job by Strozier to keep that ball in front of him.
Ducker at bat, ball one. Strozier committed to Southern Arkansas.
Southern Ark Community College.
Yeah, South Ark. So congrats to him. And hope to get down there and hone his skills and get picked up after the 2-year stint.
Good pitch.
Called strike. Good call.
But, there's no high or low.
Right.
That pitch where it's that's where his strike zone is, and you just have the width of the plate.
Yep.
That you have to fit it on that far off the ground every time.
Yeah, it's amazing. Here's the 1-1. That one's lifted to center. Mitchell ran back immediately, got a nice jump. Now he lost it in the lights, and it fell. My gosh, I gave him too much credit and tried to throw in and get the runner, but he did not, and now we got first and second. Boy.
Well, you and I have talked about it before. The ball goes above the lights. You have to wait for it to come back down below the lights, and it was hit well enough off the bat. He thought it was going to go to him. Instead, it hit right in front of him.
Mitchell struggling a bit today. He's had at the plate, been tough there. He's been so good in center field.
But if you're not familiar with the way baseball works, this is the way it works for everybody, where it beats you up and wears you down and wants to see how you react and what you do. And, the next game he could go 3 for 3 and pitch a no-hitter. But today, baseball has chosen to completely wear him down. And that's why you talk about, some baseball players are arrogant or they carry themselves like they're cocky. Well, no, it's what baseball's produced.
Yep.
Because this is what it does. And bless his heart, he's just had one of those days at the plate and in the field and on the mound. We talked about it, 3 bad pitches. So do you agree with that?
I do. I also want to point out that what you saw from their runner that time, Keith, going almost the whole way over. You talked earlier about a Greenwood runner not doing that. There's a comebacker. Carnes jumps, goes to third for 1. Saki across the diamond. Couldn't get him. But what a nice pick from Holt, though, to keep him there. But what a play from Carnes to climb the ladder and snag that ball. Wow.
Woo. Usually your play is second base, but I'm going to agree with Carnes because I don't know if he gets the double play. It was hit so hard back at him that I think that was the best move, is to get the lead runner and have Saki try to go throw it across. And I'm on my kids hard. That was a very good play from Dawson to keep that ball from getting to the fence and scoring. Probably at least one of them, probably both.
Right, 100%. So now 2 outs, first and second. That changes things. Here's House, their pitcher. He's in the 9-hole. Boy, you saw Carnes leap there. That guy he's super athletic. And the first one to the right-handed batting, left-handed pitcher is upstairs, ball 1.
He's losing a little velocity. He's got to be a little bit tired. He's done it all. You wonder if this is going to be it or not. I haven't seen the bullpen, but I would think this might be his last inning, and then you bring in the fresh arm.
First and second. 5th batter he's seen here in the 3rd. We're tied at 2. Here it comes. And that's in there. Wow.
We haven't seen that one. Yeah, we haven't seen that one called for a strike. We've bragged on his consistency, and that's the one that we've been begging for that he hasn't given us.
I love it. That's in the strike zone.
If he gives us that the first 2 innings, we have probably a no-hitter going.
Yeah, right. Here's a 1-1. Curveball in there, called strike.
And see, he forced himself to have to call it back to back.
Yep.
I wouldn't move off of that spot.
Nope. House will step out and say, man, I ain't got that high strike the whole game either. What's going on here? Now he's back in. Carnes up on top. Strozier sits up outside.
Same spot.
And just missed. Woo, 2-2.
It took me, I was about to really freak out, and I looked where he was set up, and it probably was a ball off. But, man, it was perfect height-wise off the ground where we said that's a strike. I don't know how the batter laid off of it.
Right. Here's a 2-2. And that's outside, but he offered. He went. He'll have to tag him, and that'll do it. And the Bulldogs get out of a jam here in the 3rd with a strikeout of their pitcher, House. Whew, 3 innings in the book.
That one was exhausting.
Bryce Morgan, Aiden Kennen, Austin Mitchell coming up in the top of the fourth. We're going to stay right here as Keith's kind of scanning, maybe looking for other scores.
And I was looking at, Carnes at 81 pitches.
Wow.
He had 4 walks, 5 strikeouts, 3 hits, giving up 2 runs. 2 of those are earned. But, it's the stats. The line isn't indicative of how he's pitched. He's had a lot of strikes that weren't called strikes. And so you can't look at his ball-to-strike ratio, which is, by the way, he threw 81, 47 of those were strikes. I'd say at least 12 to 15 balls that were right there that he's used to being called.
Yep.
And it changes the complexion of the game.
100%.
And we saw on the Russellville game, they come back, and now they have taken the lead 5-4.
Wow.
On Siloam Springs, and you got to know that both those teams are out of pitching. We talk about Sims, Russellville's best player, committed to Arkansas. He hasn't been pitching. Now he's not hitting. He was one of their best hitters.
Yeah.
So, they're trying to make do with what they got. Siloam Springs is – we've talked to a couple people that thought Siloam Springs was one of the best hitting teams.
Well, they've hit the ball as hard as anybody has against us in conference play. They got to Carnes the other night hitting solid balls.
That's
or anything,
right.
not home runs, but just hard hit balls. All right. Here's Bryce Morgan. Reached on an error his first time up. And House back to work for the Bombers. The lefty's up on top and brings an off-speed pitch in there for a called strike. Morgan just was going to kind of feel him out.
I'm good with that. Don't swing at that first pitch off speed.
Yeah. Now he's ready. He digs in. And home it comes upstairs.
A little too high.
Yep, 1-1.
Doesn't it feel like a early March game?
Or late October, World Series.
It's cold.
Off speed, and he couldn't wait any longer on that one.
You saw what I saw. His hands kind of started. Everything was like, and then swings at it.
It tipped it foul back into the net right towards us.
Tried. He's a good enough hitter. He'll wait back on this next one, even though he's going to get a fastball outside.
And it's upstairs, 2-2. Bryce Morgan, a senior, back over at shortstop the last few conference games.
Now you got to go back leg curve if he offered at that first one.
Here's the 2-2. House brings it home, and you got it. And it's low, full count. Boy, I'd like to see a leadoff base runner.
I wouldn't throw him 2 in a row. I mean, if you know anything, he's a senior. I'd probably throw him another fastball, probably try to get in on his hands.
Here's the 3-2. And he's swinging a miss. That ball was going to be borderline down there, Keith. I like the fact that he was going to at least try to foul it off. It's a strikeout. And here's Aiden Kennen now, the DH. He singled and scored in the second. Remember, he made his way around with some base stealing.
It was huge. That was a big hit. It was the only hit of the game, isn't it?
That one's low, ball 1. I believe you're right. Yes, it is. Ball 1. We've had a hit by pitch and a couple of walks, a couple reach on an error, but he's the only actual hit. And swinging the miss.
Oh, but yeah, he offered it that. That was a ball. We've seen that one be called a ball.
Way up. 1-1 now to Kennen, the junior. He's our DH. May see him pitch here after a while. And House brings it home. Off speeds in there for a called strike. Boy, that thing just lulls you to sleep. And comes in there off the shelf. 1-2 to Aiden Kennen. See if he can drive one. Fastball's outside. Good eye. We've seen that from Greenwood pitching. It's been there all day. It's outside.
Yeah. Our fans are used to it. I don't know how others aren't.
Right. 2-2. House up on top. And here it is, Kennen. Just never looked comfortable in there. That was an awkward swing and another strikeout and back-to-back strikeouts. All right, Austin. Here's Austin Mitchell. Struck out looking in the second.
But these guys now, if you think about where it's at in the game, they're going to get another chance, and they can't let it affect them later in the game.
Yep. I'd like to see Mitchell just hit a solid bat on the ball, regardless of where it ends up. And that's a high fly ball to right field. It's tailing away. They're going to get down. It did get down. Well, foul ball called by home plate blue. Crimmers called it fair.
The wind is kind of stopped and died. If the wind was blowing like it was an hour ago, that probably stays on the line.
So it's a strike to Mitchell, but some contact that's positive. And Mitchell now will get the bat, regroup, and get back in there. House up on top. He's on the first base side of the rubber. And the lefty will bring it home. Fastball, swing and a miss to Mitchell. Let's see if Austin can gather and forget all the strikeouts. He's had 3 looking today. Here comes the 0-2. That's upstairs. 1-2.
Yeah, and hopefully the umpire realized he pitched the last game and he knows the zone, and you can't ring him up on that high strike.
No. That one you can. You got him swinging. Struck out the side in order. Nice inning for Mr. House and the Bombers. Quick work of the Bulldogs. Well, we're in the middle of the 4th now. We're still tied at 2. Let's step away. Greenwood Sports Center and the Sports Hog 103.5. As far as defensively. All right, here's Pettigrew now. He'll come in the 4th and get the top of the order. Welcome to the party, pal.
You know, we've talked about it. Pettigrew's going to be a guy that throws strikes. He's not going to overpower you with stuff. And you just got to be careful that teams that are on him, especially the second time they see him, are usually on him. You know, it's not like where Austin Mitchell can continue to elevate that fastball and blow it by you. You know,
right.
Pettigrew might eventually, but he's even though his body looks like an older kid, he's still a sophomore. Yeah. And as he comes into it and he throws harder, it's only going to get better. But, you know, right now, you know, maybe you're setting him up and you have Jay Wright or Aiden Kennen come in. But, you know, this is huge for Pettigrew because this is a big moment. I don't know if he knows this is a big moment, but it's 2-2 in a game you got to win. This is a huge moment.
No doubt. Top of the order, Drury, Fox, and Beckham for the Bombers. Luckily, they haven't hit any bombs today so far. Pettigrew throwing his warm-up pitches. Home against Alma next Tuesday. Bring out everybody out for that one. If we win this one,
well, it's going to be huge either way because
yeah.
Alma will have the chance that they could mathematically eliminate us completely with a win.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's still, we talk about some stuff can happen and just that rivalry there. Everybody needs to be there to watch that because Greenwood, you know, these kids need to be picked up. They've worked hard and stuff, and it's not over till it's over. And right now they're still live.
And Strozier comes out to talk to Pettigrew and before the first pitch even tossed. So Drury waits a little longer in the box. We're in the bottom of the 4th, tied at 2. Greenwood put 1 in the first, 1 in the second. Mountain Home scored 2 in the bottom of the first, so we were up 1-0, then down 2-1, and now we're sitting tied. And it's offensively has gone to a snail's pace. I say that as Mountain Home had a lot of traffic on the base paths in the bottom of the 3rd, but couldn't scratch one across. And Pettigrew's first one's a called strike. So
good off-speed first pitch, and you know it's good to follow up a Carnes that throws hard and has gas. And do it the guy that's going to make you stay back and wait. Hopefully, get out front and roll over.
Another curve ball, swing and a miss from Drury. Pettigrew's looked super sharp here. 2 pitches in,
and if they stay consistent, they'll elevate a fastball here.
0-2 the count, and Pettigrew kicks and fires.
Nope.
Outside
of the curveball. Now they set the eyes up. They said, okay, low outside, let's go high fastball.
I'm going to ask you after this at-bat about Carnes' arm still in the game after pitching 80-some-odd pitches. Here's Pettigrew now with a 1-2 count. The right-handed sophomore and home plate blue flinched to try to crank the deal.
Well, he was wanting it inside, and it went over on the outside part of the plate, but it was a strike.
Wow. 2-2 now to Drury. He's their leadoff. And this one's lifted shallow right.
Jay's going to get there.
On his horse and makes the catch for out number one. Other boy James Wright.
That was a great read off the bat to where him and Austin both got a good read because it didn't get above the lights. It did well. Well, talking about the short answer to Carnes' arm, it's hard on your arm, but the truth is, and I know people don't want to hear this, he's 16 years old.
Right.
I mean, he's still kind of got a rubber arm. Yes, you can hurt it.
Yep.
But it's not near as bad if he threw 100 pitches and then went out to catcher or shortstop. I mean,
I got you. Swing and a miss. It's a high.
And you got to know that his dad knows how to take care of it to where hopefully there's a big debate now. Do you ice it? Do you heat it? Whatever they do, as long as they're consistent and they take care of it, that's all that matters.
Got you. Here's the 0-1 to Fox. And that's a chopper towards Carnes. He'll field it in foul territory. 0-2. Pettigrew working well, getting ahead of the batters.
Well, what he's doing different today than what he did the last outing is he's got a lot more control over his off speed, so he's able to throw it just about every pitch so far, and these batters are way out in front. They were still dialed into Carnes.
Right. 0-2 to Fox. Struck out twice. Pettigrew's up on top. He'll kick and fire. That one's outside, 1-2. Same sequence we saw on the last batter. An 0-2 count, and then went out there with the curveball. Here's a 1-2 now to Tony Fox. He's their center fielder, right-handed bat. Pettigrew's ready with one out here in the bottom of the fourth and a fastball that was stayed upstairs, 2-2. Talked about Carnes over at third now. He was pitching. Saki in the dugout. Here is Pettigrew. Brings it home. And that's lifted to left center.
Down.
Skaggs tried to make a diving stab at it, but it was just too early of a dive. And I don't think he could have had a shot at it. It's a base hit for Fox.
Yeah, it's one of those that off the end of the bat just did not travel at all and just hit no man's land.
And now the dangerous Will Beckham will come up with a left-handed bat. He was hit by a pitch, an RBI triple. But then he got caught, forced out at second. 6-4 to end the second inning.
Runner doesn't hurt you at first. You get a ground ball. This guy, he's closer to first, so you're going to have to get rid of it. And he's been hitting the ball very hard.
Mm-hmm. So Pettigrew looks at the runner and now comes home with it. Off speed's in there for a called strike. Good pitch. Again, ahead of the batters. He's done it 3 straight batters now. He's got ahead 0-2, as a matter of fact, to the previous 2. A 1 strike count to Will Beckham, their right fielder, left-handed bat. He's dangerous. A good stroke. Will Beckham. Here it is from Pettigrew. There's a chopper to second base. Adams tags the runner and makes the out. Good job by Adams to squeeze that thing and get the lead runner 4 unassisted. Beckham gets on with the fielder's choice, and we got 2 down now, and now Ellison.
Well, and the runner didn't advance, and you're still in an okay spot right here. You force him to not hit the ball hard, so you're doing well.
Great play from Adams. Wait on it, glove it, know where the runner's at, and just tag him, hang on to it. Don't drop that thing. And Ellison now, who's reached on fielder's choices twice. Scored a run in the first inning. We're tied at 2. Off speed in there. Swing and a miss for a strike. Pettigrew's looked fantastic so far. And like you said, just a change of pace from what they've seen previously is helping the young sophomore. Here it comes. There goes the runner. This ball's a hit and run. Hit to Mitchell. He sizes this one up.
Good.
He flinched for a minute and got me a little
That's
bit
right.
nervous, but he made sure he had it on cue. And the Bulldogs get out of that one, get around a base runner and a single there from Fox. We've played 4 innings of baseball here. It's game number 2 of this 5A West doubleheader. The Bulldogs and the Mountain Home Bombers tied at 2. We head to the top of the 5th. Greenwood Sports Center and the Sports Hog 103.5. The top of the 5th inning, and it's anybody's ball game here. Greenwood will bring Strozier, and we'll see who'll bat. Saki is in the lineup in the 9 hole. He was pulled defensively. He hadn't came out on deck yet. Strozier, Saki, and then Skaggs up top scheduled to hit.
I know it'll be a lot shorter and better trip home if you can come out with a split. if you could leave with us being swept, that will make that 4-hour trip on the yellow bus excruciatingly long.
And Strozier will get ready from the right side. House still up to work. And Mikado hadn't come out of the box yet. He's going to wait, I guess, to head to third base. They're going to let him come over. And now we'll get to see the wheels of Chad Mercado as he sprints over to third base box. And Pettigrew will come out to bat for Saki. He's on deck.
Strozier being aggressive, swinging the first pitch.
Strike one. Top of the 5th, we're tied at 2. Greenwood trying to get something going here out of the 8-9 hole. Off speed's low, 1-1.
Good job of not offering at that. Pretty good pitch. Started in the zone and broke down.
Yeah. Yep. Come on, Dylan. What wind there is blowing kind of out towards left field. And that one's fouled up over the top, 1-2.
Just need base runners. However you can get on here, put the ball in play hard. We just can't continue to strike out.
And there's one laced foul out of play right side again, still 1-2. 57 degrees now here in Mountain Home. 8-mile-an-hour wind coming out of the southeast. House up on top and ready to bring it home to Strozier, the Greenwood catcher. And that one's tipped.
That hurts.
Whew. Foul ball. Dylan will have to work that one off. Catcher and ump both go out to give him a moment to recoup. That's some catcher's love there. Mikado will come down and check on the senior Strozier. Want to go off his toe and it's freezing cold.
Sounded meaty. It was weird because it looked like it had kind of higher up on his leg. Like he's got a leg guard on. And
well, we're smiling.
Well, it didn't hit us, did it?
No, I meant Mikado and him, or we as in them.
Oh, okay.
Like the old timers.
I thought you meant we, and I'm like, I'm smiling just because I think it's awesome that he's taking hacks at it and he made contact. And, you know, to me, again, we saw Dawson do it earlier. It bodes in your favor to take hacks at these pitches.
And there's the one to lift it to the left field. The left fielder on his horse towards the line and makes the catch for out number 1. He gave it a ride, but it was...
Didn't find enough barrel.
Nope.
If he gets a little bit more on that meat spot of that barrel, it probably goes a lot further.
Well, here he is, Bryce Pettigrew. Wait a minute. It's not Bryce. This is brother, Bryce. Brady Pettigrew. I do it every time. So Brady now, a right-handed bat. He's our pitcher. And here comes from House. And he's first pitch swinging. This one's a mile high. Well, they find this one underneath the lights. The shortstop made it an adventure, but found it, and is out number 2.
It was one of those where he thought it was going to be shallow left, and it ended up being just on the real grass off the fake dirt.
Wow. Just a lot of information, and I loved it all. Here's Skaggs now. Braden Skaggs. Need him to get something going here. I need a good base hit, maybe a double. He's 0 for 2 here in the nightcap, and that's upstairs for ball 1. We are in the top of the 5th, tied at 2. House brings it home for Mountain Home. That's in the dirt.
No one said we couldn't score with 2 outs. I mean, we'll take a base runner with 2,
Darn
especially
right.
one with wheels. Good base runner with
Yep.
Carnes on deck.
2-2 to Skaggs. Right-handed bat, House, left-handed pitcher. That's outside, 3-0.
Been consistent. Don't gripe, fans. It's been consistent. Welcome to our world, right?
Yep. 3-0. And their coach is furious. I guess he's not been watching our guys pitch. That's in there for a called strike. 3-1. 2 outs here in the 5th. Skaggs swings a chopper towards third, gloved by Drury across the diamond. Wow, what a scoop out over there from Ducker. 5-3 on the putout. Pretty good piece of baseball there from Ducker on that nice scoop out. Nothing doing in the top of the 5th. We'll stay right here as Mountain Home will bring Zanskowski, Walker, and Ducker up in the bottom half, tied at 2.
You know there's a 27% chance that we could go into extra innings.
Man.
And if that happens, that makes that long trip home even longer because now you're looking at getting home well past 1 to 2 a.m.
You know, I do broadcasting for multiple sports for Greenwood High School. You don't get that information there in other sports. 27% chance. And that's no offense to the Ball Barber or Meat Jones or Doc Smith or whomever. That is information right there, people. 27% chance.
Well, some people were gifted with abilities to throw fastballs, hit golf balls, throw footballs.
Mm-hmm.
I got the innate ability to be able to yell percentages out
Yeah.
and be very eerily correct or close to it or completely wrong.
It may be a class of 91 thing because Eric Sandifer has a tendency to throw random numbers out sometimes. And there's 2 things you can go with that. 1, he's a lot bigger than you, so you just agree with it. And 2, sometimes he may be right.
He may be right.
So you just you're in the middle there, so you just go with it and
Yes.
agree and move on.
Well, things are too cut and dried where it's always either 80%, 20%. That's not the way the world works in whole numbers.
Yes.
I mean, have you seen what the kids are dealing with now?
Right.
So you have to work in very precise percentages and numbers.
Right.
Because I guarantee you the kids they know that a 68% and a 69.4% are completely 2 different numbers.
Yes, that's right.
Or 69.5, sorry,
Yes.
69.5%.
Right. Well, here we go.
All right.
Their second baseman, Zanskowski. He flied out to right field and got on base in the first inning. Of course, I don't show how he got there. He was stranded at third base. So here's Pettigrew back to work for Greenwood, bottom of the 5th, and that's, I think, a low fastball for ball 1. Up at the corners a bit. Zankowski lifts one again to shallow left. That's going to be down for a base hit. And Mitchell comes up with it, gets it back into second, and a leadoff single. Just a little wounded duck out there, Keith.
Gosh, and sometimes, we talked about how people hit the ball hard, and sometimes the best ones are just the ones you don't hit hard that just fall in between everybody.
And now it's
Batting number 13, Daniel Jones.
This is Daniel Jones is pinch hitting for Walker. The man at first. Nobody out here in the bottom of the 5th. Mountain Home trying to get something going. A leadoff single from Zanskowski. Pettigrew waiting his home plate blues, filling out his lineup card, substitution card, whatever it is. And we're ready to go. Daniel Jones, right-handed bat. Pettigrew from the stretch. Checks on the runner at first, Zanskowski, and comes home with it. He squares to bunt. That's in there for a called strike. No?
Did he call it a strike?
No, he didn't, but
Oh.
Ball one.
See, the batters, he kind of crouched low to get, you're supposed to get your bat in your eyes at the same level. And he was low, but the ball stayed in there as a strike.
Right,
it made it look high, but it was a strike.
Right. That's in there again.
That's
He offered at it. Good job of Holt to dig that one out on the bounce throw down to first. 1-1.
Calling out numbers. My guess is it's another bunt.
Here is Pettigrew up on top. Peeks over at Zanskowski. And comes home with it. And it is another bunt.
Yes, he did.
And he offered. 1-2 now.
Coach is not happy with that.
An off-speed little curveball that just set up on the outside half of the plate.
He turned around and said, heck, fire. He was not happy.
Here's the 1-2 now from Pettigrew. Holt's holding over at first. Pettigrew comes home with it. Another off-speed. He swung and missed at that one. Had him fooled the whole way. And a strikeout, number one. Out number one. That is his first strikeout as well.
Yep, Coach had some choice words for him. You got to bunt twice, and then you swing at a curveball that's 6.5 feet off the plate.
And you pinch hit for him. The DH earlier had an RBI single and walked. So he was on base twice.
So he was basically out there to bunt the guy over, and he didn't do his job.
And here is Ducker now, who had a nice pick over at first base. And off speeds outside to him, ball one. You know, when you wonder about that, this Walker kid, DH, RBI single, a walk. You know, he was thrown out, forced out the 1-5 over at third, but it was like, well, I'm going to give this other kid a chance. He's a senior. I mean, I guess high school you give guys chances, but you got to stay with the guy that hasn't been out yet.
I agree, because it'll surprise you, but I've always talked about if you're 3 for 3 in baseball, the chance of you being 4 for 4 are not very good.
That's true.
I mean, it's just the way baseball works.
Right.
And, that doesn't mean you can't go 4 for 4 because people do. They go 5 for 5. But, if a coach is like, well, this kid, he's really not hot. Today he might be. But I'm with you. I mean, you get better.
That one's fouled up out of play. 1-2 now to Ducker. One out here in the bottom of the fifth, tied at 2. Yeah, this game is slowed down to a snail's pace. Pretty good crowd. The folks, moms and dads made it up the hill. Watch these boys in Navy battle. Boy, they need a win here. Here's the 1-2, and it's upstairs. 2-2.
Pettigrew had been near the strike zone ever since he gave up that 0-2 bomb in Bologna.
Yeah, right. Here's the 2-2.
With 2 strikes, with 1 and 2 and 0-2.
Right.
He's like, I'm not going to make that mistake again.
And that one nearly got him to offer, but he did not.
That was close. That was a good pitch.
Breaking the ball in the fake dirt. Full count. One out here. Let's see if Pettigrew can find a double play ball somewhere. Here it comes from Brady, and it's fouled up out of play into Dawson's Creek. Tim Terry, Keith Oak, glad to have you aboard here. Tuesday night, chilly night in northern Arkansas. We're in Mountain Home. Game 2 of this doubleheader, 5A West. Greenwood looking for a split here. They lost 9-4 in the first one. Got to get a win. Curveball's in there, a backwards K. And home plate blue gets fired up, and the dugout's fired up as well. Here comes their catcher, Lance.
That was a good pitch.
Yes.
But I think we've thrown that before.
Right.
And not had that same reaction. I mean, that's a strike all day.
Yes.
I'm glad he finally called it.
Right.
Great pitch by Pettigrew, especially the confidence to go with a 3-2 curveball.
Here's Lance, their catcher, right-handed bat, struck out and reached on a fielder's choice. In the third, first pitch swing, and that hit him in the box, foul ball. Yeah, home plate blue hesitated a bit to call it. But
well, this is what happens. If the batter, and you tell kids, if it hits you, don't go anywhere. because if you take off running, that guy's going to say, well, the ball's in play, it didn't hit you, or you would have stopped. I mean, that's why you tell him, do not leave the box. If it hits you, stay there.
Mm-hmm.
The kid his momentum kind of carried him out, so the umpire was delayed in calling. I don't think the umpire was going to call it until the kid stopped and said, hey, it hit me.
I see. Makes sense. There's a chopper back to Pettigrew, fields it. Over to first, no problem for Holt. Good. Quick inning for the Bulldogs. 1-3 on the putout. And Greenwood takes care of business. Got around a leadoff single that time, did Pettigrew. We're tied at 2, folks. 6th inning coming up. Let's take a quick timeout. Greenwood Sports Center on YouTube and the Sports Hog 103.5.
This pitcher's at pitch-wise. He's done decent. He's kept the Greenwood batters off balance.
I agree. 2-3-4 coming up for Greenwood here in the top of the 6th. Carnes, Holt, Adams.
Greenwood's had 6 strikeouts.
One,
Man, the right one,
4, 5, 6. Yep, that's it.
Only had 1 hit. Hadn't seen a hit since Aiden Kennen's hit.
Yeah, and he scored scored a run.
Their pitcher has thrown 78 pitches. House has 45 for strikes. So, and he has had 2 walks.
Yeah, he walked Carnes in the first. That ended up being the run scored. And then he walked Adams in the first as well.
Which the hard part I have with the 6 strikeouts is
he's not blowing fastballs past you.
No.
And it's not 6-12 breaking balls.
Right, and it's not a strike zone where the umpire's
right.
atrocious and you're having to chase balls. I mean, We've said he's been consistent. It's tight, but he's been consistent, and we're still striking out. And I think most of it's been we're taking early pitches.
Here's Grant Carnes. Yep. The freshman. He is at third base now for Greenwood.
Hits the ball hard. He gets anxious. He's excited. He wants to hit the ball hard. It's harder for him to stay back on, the slow pitching and a slow curveball.
And House back to work, the lefty for Mountain Home.
Oh, it's way
there
out
it was
front.
Again. Just could not wait. Swing and a miss. Carnes digs in from the right side. Here it comes from House. They went back to some heat that time. 0-2 rather. And Carnes will dig in. 0-2 now. He's got to protect. What will they bring him? Some high heat.
Oof.
And that one's fouled out of play. He hit a mile foul over towards the buses. Still 0-2.
It's a quarter mile to where we parked, so he didn't get anything over there.
Right.
Down the trail, across the creek, over the bridge.
Yes. That ball is fouled. Not quite as drastic. Hit the light pole over right side.
He's trying to wait back on the off speed.
Mm-hmm.
That's why he's late on the fastball. Instead of setting fastball and then adjusting, he's kind of doing the opposite, and that's why he's late on it, which is fine right now because he's going to get the curveball.
And there it is, and he just hacked that one off, and Doc Holt on deck made a nice stab at it. Oh, 0-2 still to Carnes. He's fouled off 3 straight pitches. House up on top. See if he brings him something off speed. Nope. And fouled off another one, 4 in a row.
I still like this in the batter's favor. We talked about you see more pitches. He's fouling off the curveball. It's not like some of the strikeouts where we've been way out in front of the curveball. We're fouling it off. So,
right.
If you're telling me that it's a battle and Carnes has got the upper hand right now.
0-2 still to the Greenwood third baseman. And House is ready from the stretch with no one on. Off speed, Carnes reaches out and just tapped it to second baseman. He went back a second, came in, and just couldn't get it squared up. One down, here's Doc Holt. Holt has grounded out to second base. It was hit by a pitch stranded at third.
It's there.
And now House up on top, the lefty. Swinging away at first pitch fastball, and it's out of play. Steve Rack one. There are a million balls in that creek.
There are.
I don't know if they've got like a little silt fence up over there, like a construction site to stop them.
I don't think so. There's some kids out there looking in the bushes.
Gotcha. 0-1 to Holt. There you go. That one's laced to left field. Left fielder's back on his horse, and it is off the fence. A double for Holt, and he's going to be held up there, and a one-out double for Doc Holt. And finally some life in the dugout off to our right.
That was nice. That was a nice hit. That ball's off in the middle of the plate. He crushed that ball. If he ever learns to use his legs, that ball will be gone.
Well, here's Harrison Adams as Coach Crow is going to come out, and we may have seen all of the lefty. As these things up, they finally got to him. 2-2 is the score. Top of the sixth, one out. Greenwood with a double from Dawson Holt, our first baseman. Harrison Adams awaits, and we'll see if they have a pitching change. We're going to stay right here for now.
I think that, they're going to talk about what's got to happen and probably going to settle him down, make sure we don't get any momentum. He's given up 2 hits.
Right.
That's his second hit, so I don't
right.
think he's done anything wrong. I think they're going to stick with him. They're just going to talk defensively what not to do and what to do. And I don't know what they could be setting up. I mean, there's one out. He's going to talk, and I don't know if they're going to maybe do a bunt and run. And, if you're going to get tricky, you do a bunt and run and try to score him from second.
Well, Mikado's headed back to his dugout. There's chaos all over the place. His players are moving left and right. Looks like we brought in a new glove for House, so he's done pitching. I think is that number 15, Ellison, who we saw.
Is that the shortstop that they moved? It is, isn't it? The guy that really steps to his left.
Yes, the power line guy. So Reed, I think it's Reed Ellison. Yep, he's in to pitch. He was the actual closer, if you will, of game one, if I recall, the last pitcher we saw. So they bring in the number 8. I'm not sure who he is to third base. There's Drury goes to short. Zanskowski still at second, and House back to first base. I'll try to get you number 8's name. I think it's Chaffin.
Is this the sixth inning?
It is the top of the sixth.
Wow.
That's Chaffin over there at third now.
Well, the way things work out, Dawson's going to be left out there, and it's going to go into extra innings. This could be the longest game in the history of high school sports. And we're still tomorrow morning. You think they bring us back, or would they just keep playing?
Well, I mean, we're going to have somebody probably put up a room for us if we extend it to tomorrow. I don't know if Jessica's really prepared to camp out at the station.
Oh, she'd be so mad at you.
Well, I mean, it's it's part of it. Part of being the the queen. When you're the queen, you gotta survive in there.
Well, Coach thought of something. Coach had an idea that he wanted Dawson to be a part of, and you don't know what it could be. I mean, the only thing I'm thinking of is either you're setting up a play if Harrison gets on base, or you're setting up, hey, try a drag bunt. And if you do a bunt and run where Dawson leaves, then you try to score him while they're making the play at first. Try to score him. I mean, you're getting very trivial, and that's very, 11, 12-year-old. But,
right.
Golly, we've seen worse things work at high school, right?
Yes. That's McLean out and left for them. Chaffin is at third. Drury's at short. Zanskowski stays at second. House over at first. Ellison's pitching. And here we go. It's Fox and Beckham on the rest of the center and right.
You know why Dawson hit that double, don't you?
No.
Because I told him to drag bunt.
That's exactly right. Right. Here's Adams now with Holt out at second, a one-out double. Upstairs from Ellison. 1-ball count to Adams. Adams walked, grounded out to third. He is 0 for 1. Holt gets a lead out at second with a double. And here it comes to Adams upstairs, 2-0.
We saw this earlier, and that guy's strike zone when he came in to pitch the last game was a little bit bigger and helped him out. And he's probably the wrong guy with this strike zone to be throwing. He wasn't very consistent last time.
Right. 2-ball count to Adams. I'd like to see Harrison square one up. Come on, brother. He's due. Make your dad proud. And swing and a miss. He wanted it, and that was a good pitch to go get, too. 2-1.
Dawson's just going to have to freeze on a line drive. That'd be the only thing to keep him from scoring. It'd be a lot easier if it were a ground ball.
Right.
Then he knows he don't have to freeze. But, a line drive, he's going to have to freeze. Make sure he doesn't get doubled off.
Here's a 2-1 to Adams. And Ellison plunked him. We'll take it any way we can get it. Down to first base as the Greenwood dugout's starting to show a little life.
Well, they should. You got a double, you got a hit by pitch.
Yeah, let's go.
You got a team that the pitcher stared at you earlier when he struck you out and then walked off that's right. And it's just, have a little pride, Bulldog pride. Let's go.
Got to. I mean, you got to want to continue playing. What else you got to do there?
That's right.
Here's Ellison now up on the bump, and Bryce Morgan will stand in. Reached on an error, struck out. And the senior a chance here to cash in some dividends. Ellison comes set. The runners get their lead at first and second. 1 out, top of the 6th. And Morgan was late on some heat. That thing would have went a mile if he could have connected.
Was it high?
It was a little high. Yeah, he swung late, but it was upstairs. But I think it would have been a strike. Ellison up top from the stretch, ball into the glove. He checks on Holt at second.
Watch the back pick at first.
And they're going to turn and go that way. And Dawson scampers back to the bag. Morgan's back in and ready with an 0-1 count. Runners get their lead. And here's Ellison coming home with it. And just late again is one right in the middle from Morgan, 0-2.
Nope, now you got to just choke up and make contact. Just any kind of barrel to the ball, something on the ground.
Ellison comes set, looks at Holt at second, and he'll come home with it. There's one to left, right center. Get down. Oh, no, a diving catch. Holt did a good job of waiting. The tag was clean, and he'll be in at third base. Moved one runner up. Adams stayed at first. Boy, I thought he was going to get down, but a great play out there from Fox.
When they just appealed second, and we saw him that time. He definitely didn't leave earlier.
Right. And Kennen now will come up, and here comes Coach
He's going to tell them if they try to leave early, let that runner go. He's not going to give up the run.
Right.
He's probably just going to fill him in on how important Dawson is at third base to not score.
Well, let's hope Dawson does it. Adams kind of jumped the gun on us earlier. Let's hope that Dawson stays there and lets Adams get in this run down. That's what Mikado's going to go tell Harrison. Amazing that obviously softball's a different animal. I've grown up watching the daughters, but you never see this getting the rundown deal, and it's strange how many times the guy scores. I guess with 2 outs, if you can get that out, obviously you got to get it before he touches home, but.
Well, they did. 90 feet is so much different than softball, and it's to me this is easier to get the out before the run,
right?
Because you're
just
close.
Run to him.
Yes.
The pitcher just take off running to the guy.
He did perfect last time. You give it up to the second baseman fast because he can face everybody. So
Right.
to me, they did it right.
And that one's outside. Ball 1 to Aiden Kennen. That's really my dream right now is to see Big Kennen just square one up and put it in the cheap seats. A 3-run jack. We can pop some champagne possibly. Here's a 1-0 with 2 outs. We're in the top of the 6th, tied at 2. Ellison on top for the Bombers. And runners at the corners. He's going to look the third to first fake. Nothing doing.
Yep, they were guessing that he might be going there. You're hoping he takes off when you lift your leg?
1-ball count. I'd like to let Kennen win this thing or do the magic. Oh,
late. Just late.
1-1. Aiden struck out his last time up. He singled in the second and scored the tying run. But his last at bat, he's kind of a late offering and an awkward swing at strike 3.
If he gets 2 strikes, that's when you'll see them maybe try some shenanigans.
Here's a 1-2. That's upstairs. Good eye from Aiden Kennen. 2-1.
Man, you can't be too impatient as a Greenwood batter. The strike zone's been tight. This guy's been all over the place. He's leaving his fastballs high. Just don't get impatient and swing at something outside the zone.
Yep. 2-1 now to Kennen. Runners at the corners. Adams over there at first. Holtz at third. And there's a ball lifted out to right center field.
That's down.
And the right fielder makes the grab in deep right center field. He gave it a ride, but to no avail. And that ends the threat here in the top of the sixth. Woo! There was one hit, the double by Holt. No runs, no errors. 2 men left on base as we stagger to the bottom of the sixth in a 2-2 battle and a huge game with postseason implications here on the road in Mountain Home. Greenwood Sports Center and live on the Sports Hog 103.5. We are back here at McLean Park in Mountain Home. This is Pitt's Family Field. Tim Terry, Keith Holt. We are in game 2 of a slug. It's a heavyweight, it's a puncher's duel. What's the word? It's back and forth. It's 2-2. No runs have been scored since the second inning when Greenwood tied it up in the top of the second. But it's just kind of a brawl, really. It's not, when I say slugfest, I don't mean we're hitting the ball hard. It's just punch, counter punch.
It is. The last 2 innings, it's turned into a staring contest.
Right.
It's like, who's going to blink first?
Yeah.
It's, I was sitting there trying to think of the same analogy as you were, and it's like, you know what? No one's really punched yet. It's more like a staring contest. It's whoever's going to be blinking first. Who makes the mistake first?
Here's their 9-hole, House, who's over at first base now, and an off-speed to him is low from Pettigrew, ball 1.
And you haven't seen Pettigrew in this situation. I guess at Valonia, what was the score when he was in then? Do you remember?
No, I do not.
But
there's an off-speed delivery, hit hard. Can Skaggs go get it? And he cannot. It's over his head. And then he has trouble trying to barehand it. It's an easy double for House out of the 9-hole.
Well, you got to expect the bunt now. You got to bring Dawson all the way in and just expect it, even though we're at the top of the lineup here at the leadoff.
Huge double there from House, who's trying to help himself. Of course, we tied the game with him up, but I guess he wouldn't factor in the decision. And Strozier's out, going to say, hey, call out the game.
He's going to tell your third baseman, check the runner, throw it across. Make sure when that happens, Morgan's covering third. On a bunt, probably keeping the third baseman back, which means Pettigrew's got the left side.
And here's the top of the order. Drury, he squares the bunt, and the pitch is a little high. Again, it's tough when they square and they come out because the strike zone gets muddled for home plate blue. Flied out to right. He's walked twice, Drury has. He's 0 for 1. He has scored a run in the first. 1-0 count. That's a off speed in the dirt, 2-0. Holt hard charging there, coming in all the way.
Well, you got to look at high school for a slash. I'm not a big fan in travel ball because the bases are closer, but it's perfectly okay to use it in high school when you're talking about big kids.
Right.
You keep drawing them in and then hit it past them, slash it past them. They do it in softball all the time.
Yep. 2-ball count to Drury. Ultimately, Pettigrew needs to bring the strike. They're going to give you an out, give him something to bunt. Well, there it is. It's hard back to Pettigrew. And he's going to go 1 and threw it away. And that's going to score. And off to second goes Drury. He's going to keep running and go to third. The ball comes in, and he's out. Oh, what a shot from right. He got him. Oh no. Oh, my gosh.
Wow.
He was dead meat at third base, and what a throw from Jay Wright over there.
The umpire was in horrible position. Jay threw an absolute rocket.
It might have been Adams that came out of there.
Was that Adams?
It may have been, because he knelt down like he can't believe it. Mikado's coming out to talk. I can't believe that. The run scored, no problem. Boy, that was on the money.
Well, the only argument the umpire has is you're right. I was out of position, but I already called it. That's the only argument.
I don't even think that, because he sprinted to get in position.
But he was behind over here.
Right.
He was behind the coach almost. The coach was closer to the play than he was.
The problem is the runner slid into the glove. That's what was bad.
Great tag by Carnes. Yeah. I mean, it was.
No doubt. But he was certainly out. But to no avail. There's still nobody out. There's a runner on third. And
it's getting chippy. And
it is.
I thought it was bunted sort of back to Pettigrew to where I thought you could have still probably had the lead runner.
I agree, too. Had he spun over there.
He spun over there and throws it, makes the tag, and you get the lead runner. And
so Drury is going to reach on an error.
It's risky, but with much risk comes much reward.
That's right. And I think he would have had time to get him. So
I do, because we had the perfect angle to see that he wasn't.
The bunt was hard enough.
Yes, bunt was hard enough. He didn't get a great secondary on the bunt because he'd already offered it to and didn't bunt. So the runner wasn't getting way off.
It's 3-2, bottom of the sixth now. And
you've got two different kinds of squeezes here that you could see. A straight all-out squeeze is just where the runner takes off and you have to bunt it, or it's a safety squeeze where the runner reads it down and then goes. So it may be something where they do a safety.
Infield is in. They're nearly hit him as Fox got a little bit out of the way. That's ball one. Infield up on the turf in before Greenwood. Nobody out still yet. Runner at third. Boy, if you can get out of this just giving up 2 runs, that'd be nice. Curveballs flare out to right, and that's down, and that's going to score easily. Jay Wright fields it, and he'll get it back in. And a nice little hit there from Fox, and here comes the dangerous Beckham. And that's an RBI for Fox.
It's a great experience for Pettigrew because he's a sophomore, and people, all the guys that have been there tell you their biggest learning moments are the ones when they didn't do great. They messed up, they made mistakes, and that mistake, although it hurts now, it'll make Pettigrew a better baseball player tomorrow.
Right. Yep, just too high. And there's one to Beckham. He went, called strike. Beckham has hit an RBI triple. He was hit by a pitch and reached on a fielder's choice.
Fielder's choice, I thought, was a nubber. Wasn't it just a nubber? Yep. It was the one to Harrison that he tagged the runner.
Yes. Yeah, 4 unassisted. That's right. So it's 4-2. And then tried to bunt, and he offered, so strike 2. Nobody out in the bottom of the 6th. And they broke a 2-2 tie. This game was like a funeral out here. Just nothing was happening. All of a sudden, everybody's chippy. They got a 50-50 call, went the home team's way, and swing and a miss, and a strikeout. Pettigrew went and got him. Out number 1. That's a big strikeout.
That's huge.
Here's Ellison now, who's in the pitch for the Bombers. And he sure is more relaxed now. He's got 2 runs for sure of run support at least when he comes back out to the top of the 7th to try and sweep these Bulldogs. Holt holds the runner Fox over at first. An RBI single will flare out to right. And squaring the bunt is Ellison. He pulled back and takes ball 1.
You hope you can minimize the damage to just 2 runs.
Yep.
You're still going to have a tall order in the top of the 7th, but you surely don't want it more than that.
Strike in there. Mitchell, Strozier, Pettigrew do up in the top of the 7th. That's 7, 8, 9. 1-1 to Ellison. Right-handed bat. He's their pitcher. We'll get the win here now. Here's Pettigrew. Outside, the runner reads it, and he's gone. Fox will head down, and thank goodness.
That was a great read, and, Strozer's mad at himself, but we've seen him block that ball in front of him every time, and the spin of the ball, I think he did all he could do. Matter of fact, I was impressed that he kept it as close as he did.
Right.
Because that ball was way outside.
Yes. 2-1 now to Ellison. Pettigrew up on top. Peers in. He's got the sign.
The only thing is it takes it out. Now you're looking at the outfield's going to have to come in and try to shoot him down. You don't want to make it 3.
And that ball's inside, 3-1. Zankowski's out on deck for the Bombers.
Give a shout out to Hallie and Peyton, who watched Peyton play. He's thinking about giving up baseball to be a golfer. Probably needs to.
Probably not. Here's a 3-1. And Pettigrew will step off, regroup. I guess, did the Rough Riders win tonight? Did we know?
They lost to Connors by 1.
Wow.
Of course, the midweek games are different when you pitch off and it's non-conference.
Mm-hmm.
You know, your bread and butter is those weekend series.
Right. Here's a 3-1 from Pettigrew. And fouled right back at us. Full count. 1 down here in the bottom of the 6th. Greenwood's got one more chance in the top half. They've got to get 2 runs now, at least, to keep this thing alive.
Yeah, and that's with only 1 out runner at second. We still got to minimize some of this damage here.
Yep.
3-2 count.
Pettigrew.
I think it's okay to walk him.
Yep. And he's swinging a miss at some high heat.
Definitely okay to strike him out.
Wow. Now, here's Zankowski. Now, they've got the DH spot, and they've got another guy that's came out. You're going to put him on. He's been pretty solid.
Second baseman, number 11.
Yeah, with 2 outs, I take my chances.
Okay. I'd rather.
Ooh, I like the guy on the deck, though. It's like betting on a horse.
Yeah. Well, you know what to do with it. Never mind.
Yeah.
You walk him and pitch to the giraffe. Strike called.
Just don't give him anything to hit. Just don't throw anything fast and chunky over the plate.
Right.
And if he grounds out or flies out, great. If you walk him, okay.
Runner at second. 2 down now, an 0-1 count to Zankowski. Another curveball is, I have no idea where that ball's at. 1-1. Of course, that's the one their coach was griping about. He thought should have been a strike.
Yeah, and he's been consistent.
Yeah.
I agree. Some people call that a strike. 84% of the umpires call that a strike.
Right. 1-1 now to Zankowski. Swing and a miss. He was going for the jugular there. Can Pettigrew find one more strike?
It's that 16% that's killing us.
Yes.
And we had to drive 4 hours to find one.
Right. And the 1-2. Pettigrew peers in. Here it comes. Breaking ball and another little flare right out just in the right field inside the line, just laid on it. Run's going to score and try to get him at second. He's in there safely. And another run on the board for the Bombers. Amazing. And that's why I would have put him on.
Yeah.
Hindsight's whatever, but this guy hasn't even been up yet.
No, and again,
oh, well, he did pinch hit in the
Pettigrew's
first
doing all he
game.
can do, but
Right.
he just doesn't throw hard enough. 2 times through the lineup is tough.
This is their DH spot, and the third guy is Ian Allison. He's younger, and his first time to be in this second game. And he swings and misses. Obviously, hindsight's hindsight. We've talked about that a million times. I wouldn't have pitched to Zankowski. I just wouldn't have. And fastball's fouled back into the netting, so Pettigrew's up 0-2. Obviously, it looks real obvious here if he strikes this guy out in 3 pitches.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Well, you can tell he didn't look comfortable in the batter's box.
No. And we got, 0-2 to Ian Ellison. There goes the runner to third. They're going to try to, nope, not going to throw down. The batter just stayed in the box like you said he should.
He should. No.
But,
and as a matter of fact, he kept his bat up, too, which was what Strozier, I think he couldn't throw it over his head because he kept his bat up, but he's more within his rights to do that as long as he stays in the box.
1-2 upstairs, 2-2 now.
Their runner's he stole third on Pettigrew by, him only looking one time, and he got an absolutely huge lead. He was probably going to make it regardless.
2-2 now. Pettigrew comes home with it. Breaking balls inside.
You don't want to lose him for sure.
No.
We talked about, walking to get to this guy, and then now we can't walk him.
Right, exactly. Ducker's out on deck. And here is Pettigrew with the 3-2. And that ball's hit to the left. Skaggs back, finds it, draws the bead, makes the catch out in left field. And that will end the sixth. There was major, major damage done, however. 3 runs across on 2 hits. Oh, I beg your pardon, 3 hits. An error, and 1 man left on base. Well, this is it right here. Bulldogs, not season ending, but they sure need to get 3 runs somehow and extend this ball game tonight. Mitchell, Strozier, and Pettigrew due up here in the top of the 7th, trailing 5-2 to Mountain Home, in danger of being swept on the road.
Well, I hate it for Greenwood because these kids work hard. Mm-hmm. It's something that a lot of the baseball players, it's something you do year-round. You cannot be good, like better than average at baseball and only do it during baseball season, and you see it. And, for you to not have a chance at postseason when that's your main goal, it's tough, especially at Greenwood when every other sport makes it to the postseason. It's hard on the kids. And you just got to figure out the formula because you got kids coming. The 9th and 10th grade group has some players that can play. You've got pitchers. You're young. Your top pitchers right now today have all been 9th and 10th graders. So, you got to get it figured out because – this is not going to be acceptable in the near future when you're talking about the kind of players that you have coming back and that you have. It's just not. You got to be able to win, especially when I think the conference is down and Mountain Home's not showing me anything to tell us that they're better than us. Do you think Mountain Home's better than Greenwood, just player for player?
I mean, I don't know. I don't know these guys. They don't look.
They've made mistakes like us. They haven't hit like us.
Right.
Some of the difference is the little things.
Yep. Well, here's Bircher pinch hitting now for Mitchell. Austin Bircher, number 20, right-handed bat, and he's late on a fastball from Ellison. Strike 1 swinging. Thought we might see Bircher in right field today. He's played a pretty good right field a few times this season, but he's in there batting now. Here comes from Ellison, high heat, swing and a miss. Bircher's taking home run hacks. Just takes one, though. 0-2.
Yeah, one at a time. You're not going to get 3 runs with 1 swing.
Ellison up top. He's feeling good, real confident. And to Bircher. 3 swings, strike, strike, strike. Here's Strozier now, senior. Flied out to the left, reached on an error tonight.
I heard some fan over there say, well, at least they're good at football.
Oh, gosh. And basketball. We swept them in basketball, too. If that matters. Here's Strozier. Swing and a miss.
Keep that shoulder in, drive it up the middle. Gap to gap.
Strozier digs into the turf. He's ready. Here it is. Outside. 1-1. Got to be patient, like you said, Keith.
Not going to, any way you can get on base. Take your hacks early. That's fine. I'm okay with him taking a home run hack right there. But when you get closer to 2 strikes, you can't miss an opportunity to go with the pitch and hit it to the right side. You can't miss those opportunities to get base runners.
5-2.
That reminds me, let's look at Russellville's score. Let's see what they're.
3 runs in the bottom of the 6th for the Bombers. Swing and a miss from Strozier on some gas inside. He's only got 1 strike left. There's 1 down here in the top of the 7th. Greenwood's got to get 3 runs to keep the game going. Here's Ellison. Swing and a miss.
2 strikeouts.
Yep. Well, it's up to Pettigrew, who's in pitching now.
Russellville won game 2, 6-4. So they split with Siloam Springs.
So this can be detrimental now. If this Greenwood loses here, they'll have to figure out a way to sweep Alma and Greenbrier, unless they get a ton of help from somebody. Pettigrew's first one's fouled back into the netting. Just a slight little knee buckle from me. Skaggs comes and gets it. He's on deck if Pettigrew can extend the ball game. He's the last chance for Greenwood. That's upstairs, 1-1.
Well, if Greenwood is not able to pull this out, the worst part about this is going to be the next 10 minutes after the game's over, watching them celebrate and acting like they're the best team in the conference. That's the hardest part.
Right. That one bounced in, 2-1.
Especially when you and I both know that Greenwood can play with them or anybody in the conference.
Certainly.
But to know that we've kind of shot ourselves in the foot and that we've kind of orchestrated our own demise is what's going to make it bad, as we see Pettigrew offer on an outside pitch for strike 2. Count goes to 2-2. Yeah, that's the worst part, is watching them act like that.
Well, this is it. We're down to our last strike. Well, they strike out the side to end it. Pettigrew fouls one off into Dawson's Creek up over the top, 2-2.
Part of the problem is I did not eat any gummy bears on the way here.
Well, we talked about that too. We sure went and got
We should have got some. That could have changed the whole dynamic of the day.
Here's a 2-2 to Pettigrew. And he lifts this one a mile high. It's in play. Can the first baseman House find it? He did. And that will do it for this Twin Bill and Mountain Home. The Bombers sweep the Bulldogs 5-2 in the nightcap. And Greenwood, their postseason chances take a huge hit here tonight on the road at McLean Park, the Pitts Family Field.
Well, you got 2 hits. Dawson Holt had a hit. Aiden Kennen had a hit. You know, you could look at that. That's part of the problem. He had 8 strikeouts.
Right.
Let's see.
Tough night for the Bulldogs. We appreciate the hospitality here from the Mountain Home folks. I will thank Sean and Joey working the live stream cameras and engineering, making the road trip up here against all odds. I'll thank Miss Jessica and Mr. Michael back at the station for making us sound so good. Appreciate Keith as he looks through some numbers. Anything else jump out at you before we get out of here?
No. I mean, Greenwood can do better. The kids are going to have to regroup. You saw a lot of kids hang their heads today.
Yep.
And when they come back and scored, you know, we've talked about how they've come back multiple times to beat people earlier in the year. And Greenwood's just like, it's like they were out of wind. It's like they're out of air. And it's, you know, you just don't see that from kids from Greenwood. You hope they can regroup. And we got to take care of business against Alma. And then you got to go ahead and beat the best pitcher in the conference in Greenbrier and sweep them.
All right, well, we'll call it a night from Mountain Home. Appreciate everybody tuning in back in the River Valley and some folks up around this area. Had some Mountain Home folks tuned in to watch the live stream. Hope you enjoyed the broadcast. Yeah, for Keith Holt, I'm Tim Terry saying so long from McLean Park and Mountain Home, where the Bombers sweep the Bulldogs tonight in a crucial 5A West doubleheader. Next broadcast, 2 weeks from tonight, radio side that is, will be in Greenbrier for the finale of the conference tilt. Next week at home against Alma, live stream for that. So y'all join us over on YouTube if you're watching tonight. Appreciate it. And we'll have radio for you next in 2 weeks. I believe it's May the 3rd in Greenbrier. Well, we'll hope you have a good night, and we will see you next time right here on Greenwood Sports Center on YouTube and the Sports Hog of the River Valley's home for local sports, 103.5.